Welcome. It's Thursday, September the 6th, 2018, and we're talking about God's measuring stick, the divine measuring standard by which we live our lives in relationship. Jesus started Matthew 7 in this section of the Sermon on the Mount by talking about not judging, not having that critical spirit, censoring everything. And here in verse 12, after talking to us about the grace of prayer and how we move into God's grace by prayer, he tells us, here's a great way to have healthy relationships. Let me read this verse again. Therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, do also them, for this is the law and prophets. And I've thought about this so many times. You've probably had this happen. Maybe they're not doing any of this anymore in school, but early on, elementary school, a teacher will say, I want every one of you to draw a straight line down the center of your page. It's like we're dividing the page that may already have horizontal lines. We're going to draw a vertical line down it, and maybe we're going to have two columns now in that page. And right after she gives this instruction, the principal pops his head inside the door and says to the teacher, I need to speak to you a moment. She goes out. And so all the kids, at least everybody but myself, and a couple of the guys, they drew the straight line, and then they're looking at the straight line, and they're showing each other their papers. You know, some of us were making paper airplanes during that time, and so on and so forth. And some of them begin to draw and doodle all over the pages, but they begin to compare the line. And Susie said, "Look at Johnny, my line's straighter than your line." And this went on, and one child said, "No, it's not. My line's straighter than yours." And pretty soon, the teacher's out longer than the students would have needed her to be. And everybody has made sure they've drawn a line, and they're comparing how straight the line was that they had. And after a little while, everybody's kind of thinking, wow, Susie really has drawn the best straight line. And George and Arthur, they're sitting over there in the corner saying, no, she had a better pencil. That's why her line's straighter than ours. And then the teacher comes back into the room, and she says, okay, children, I want to see your line. And so they all hold up their paper at their desk, and some of the kids are saying to the teacher, my line's really straight. And so one at a time, teacher gets out the ruler, and she brings that ruler out and lays it on each kid's line. And when they compare it to the ruler, none of their lines are as straight as they thought. Unfortunately, this is how we live in human morality. Even in the Christian culture today, we're not living by a divine measuring stick in relationship to one another. We're living by comparison to others and the line they've drawn. It's human nature to compare our line with another and consider ourselves to be okay. I'm straighter morally than you are. No, you're not. I am. Arthur's the best. But then God enters and produces his straight edge. And we see that all human lines of character are flawed. So we're trying to help us understand that when God says, here's how we live in relationship to others, what do you want men to do to you? How do you want to be treated? Come on, in this tense culture, so politically divided and so racially divided in so many ways, so status divided, economic status divided, how do you want men to treat you? Well, get up, stand up, line up with God's straight edge, and treat them that way first. Let's pray about this. Lord, today I believe that everyone who's listening to this is going to have opportunity to live according to your divine measuring stick or live according to flawed human nature. And I, for one, want to live according to your standard. And I confess sometimes that's really been difficult. Help us all today to serve you best by doing to others what we want done to ourselves. Thank you. Amen. Have a blessed day.